Autism is described as a spectrum disorder, meaning there are various levels of the disorder, and those with Asperger's are considered higher functioning, can attend school, but have a difficult time with social situations. Now there is a program in Columbus designed specifically for children with Asperger's syndrome in hopes that these young students can go on to college, possibly hold down a job as they grow older. Andrew Kieta is from the Haugland Learning Center with more on their Aspire program. Andrew, nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
For people not familiar with Haugland Learning Center, and there are different types of autism centers here in Central Ohio, what do you offer students?
So we actually offer everything. We have two Columbus-based locations, both up in Dublin. One is kind of a more traditional setting where we're working on life skills, job skills, things that get students back into the community, be able to get them living skills so they can fulfill kind of a more traditional lifestyle. And we also have branches across Ohio. But what we're kind of focusing on today, and what I do, is I coordinate the Aspire program, and that is for students who primarily have an Asperger's diagnosis, or what we kind of traditionally call high-functioning autism. So these are students who come to us generally no more than 3 to 4 years behind where they should be academically, and our goal is to get them caught up, get them back into their public or private setting, or continue with us through high school. But the end goal is to get these students through high school with the academic skill they need to get a job, or hopefully to go to college.
It's called the Aspire program,
Aspire,
am I right?
Yes.
And it is just for folks, as you described, with Asperger's or higher.
Right. We have some students who, not everybody has an Asperger's diagnosis, but the majority of them do. And the students who do not are high-functioning autism.
You say high-functioning, meaning they can go to a public school,
Absolutely.
right, for most?
Absolutely.
So where do the issues come in for these kids?
It depends on the student. A lot of what we see is students who haven't had the behavioral supports they need over the years. They've fallen behind academically not because they don't have the skill sets, not because they're not intelligent enough, but because they haven't been given proper behavior supports. We say if a student doesn't know how to read, we teach them how to read. If they can't do math, we teach them how to math. Yet in traditional settings, often students who don't know how to behave, we send them to the principal's office or expel them, and that just gets them further behind. So instead, what we do is we teach the students how to behave. We give them the models they need to know how to implement certain social skills, and we look really to have a really positive outlook. We don't do any punishment. Everything we do is from what's called positive reinforcement. So we try to target the behaviors that we want to see, what are desirable behaviors, what are behaviors that are going to help a student, and we try to reinforce those and make those kind of consistent across the board.
What ages of students do you have at the center?
So in the Aspire program, we have two parts of it. We have a K-8 program and also our high school program.
Okay. What is it best? If a student and is diagnosed as Asperger's, is it good for them to get in a program like yours early where you can start to work on those behavioral things?
Sure. I mean,
when they get behind?
Sure. I think it's different for each family, but obviously I feel like we provide a service that other people do not provide, and I do think it's advantageous for them to get into a program like this now where we can start to really identify what skills need to be addressed. We don't do a traditional setup where we have students based by grade levels. We place students by where they are academically. That allows us to teach to everybody at the same time. Often you see in a traditional setting teachers who teach to the middle because they have to. They have 30 students in a classroom. They don't have an option.
So if you're 13, this is the class you're in.
Exactly.
And this is the class you're in.
Regardless of what your skill set is.
Right.
So we see students who are at the top of that class and could go through the roof, but we just kind of let them go because, well, they're smart. They'll get it. And our lower students don't get the attention they need either because teachers don't have time to work with those students. So our class sizes are no larger than 6. So we have one teacher with 6 students. All the students are assessed daily, monthly. We have a really complex level of assessment to make sure they're all in the right place. And that way a teacher can teach to the middle, but when all the students are in the middle, everybody gets the instruction that they need.
Is that what you call direct instruction? Directed to them?
It's certainly a component of direct instruction. Direct instruction is actually a really, really well-researched methodology that's been used across special ed settings for years. And really what it is, it's a scripted lesson. So there's behavioral researchers and instructional designers who take the time to go and design the lesson for teachers. Therefore, the teachers don't have to worry about pulling out this sort of curriculum or pulling this out or figuring what needs to be done because it's been done for them by someone who that's their job. So the teachers can then focus on getting feedback from the students, making decisions about where does this instruction need to go, rather than having to worry about 3 or 4 jobs at once.
And you mentioned earlier, the hope is to get these kids a job.
Absolutely.
Or through school or college, because we know they can, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think society is becoming more accepting of these students as well. So
sure, yeah.
It's great to have you here and to explain everything that you offer.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.